Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Bedford, welcome to the Phil Paleologos Show. With updates and breaking news from the WBSM newsroom and on the WBSM app. And your calls and conversation at 508-996-0500. Here he is, New Bedford's #1 talk show host, WBSM's Morning Mayor, Phil Paleologos.
Hey, I don't know if Tim Weisberg can do anything here, but President Biden is referred to in a New York Post story as the big guy. I don't know whether he's going to get a little reprimand here. He's the big gun, and coming up in less than an hour. Good morning. Wonderful to have you with us. So much going on, and let's just jump right into it. How's that? You know, in order to guarantee a delivery before Christmas, Gas Bars is giving you the warning that tomorrow, or is it today or tomorrow? It's tomorrow, yeah. You can either call or you can go online and order your own, Linguiça gift pack, and then send it off to your loved ones, and whoever they are, they'll love it. They will love it, all right? So make sure that you get plenty of that. And we have other things going on that I'll tell you about in just a second. But right now, I think we have ourselves a winner. Paul and Dixon has been around. Let's see. They started insuring the whaling ships. So how far back does that go? Ooh, would I love to see a contract about a whaling ship, But anyway, it is wonderful for you to join us. Congratulations, $1 million musical winner, Eric James. Eric James, you're going to the Z to see the $1 million musical on the Morning Mayor.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Phil Paleologos.
Natural disaster comes knocking. How prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
WBSM isn't just a broadcast, it's also a podcast. Get all of our podcasts at WBSM.com, the WBSM app, or just search WBSM on your favorite podcast provider.
He's a very interesting man. I don't know why the hell he wanted to go into politics. You're who pushed you into it, or how did you decide that you would like to run for Congress?
I just got the bug. I knew it. I just love politics. When I started doing it, I was drawn to it. And, you get this desire to do it, and nothing could stop me.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever thought of a podcast?
well, I used to do one with Arlene, remember, called Revolution.
I do remember that. Is that past tense now?
Well, we put it on hold for a year.
Okay.
And we've talked about maybe starting it up again, so I might do it again. We'll see.
Yeah.
Podcasts are great. They're great, but
Oh, absolutely.
they're in a phase of shakeout, which businesses go through, where there are too many of them. And you really can't make any money off them unless you have a sponsor or several sponsors, and they're hard to get. And we didn't get any. So, it's a chicken and an egg. If you get a lot of listeners, it's like getting a lot of followers on Twitter. If you get a lot of followers, then people say, oh, okay, I'll pay money now to reach those followers.
Yep.
But how do you get all followers if you don't publicize it? So it's a chicken and an egg. How do you get known,
Speaking of that, this story wasn't publicized a lot because it happens to involve the president and Hunter Biden's laptop. And so I'm reading that the first article on Hunter Biden's laptop, and for much of that whole time, John, the effort to reveal Joe Biden's role in his son's dirty deals seemed stalled out or even hopeless. Do you agree?
It's funny because I was just on another show where the guy was asking me about this a half an hour ago. So it's in my brain. And I think the whole Hunter Biden story is a waste of time. He's a private citizen. He's a sick kid. Joe Biden feels very sad about what's happened to his son, who's been in rehab. He's a drug addict by his own admission, alcoholic, the whole thing. And he's not a public official. So the only public interest in the case would be if somehow there was, when Joe Biden was in elected office,
right,
vice president, did he profit from his son and not report it? Did he get money from his son and not report it?
Is he the big guy? Is he the big guy, right?
Yeah, that's referred to in some emails that were allegedly found on this hard drive.
Right. Some are calling this whole scheme a racket. So that is leaning.
Michael Goodwin. It's Michael Goodwin that you're looking at in today's New York Post. And I would just say this. The Republicans ran this fall heavily on this issue and said, we get into Congress, we're going to investigate Hunter Biden. How'd that work out for them? Not too well. They lost the Senate, and they really barely scraped by in the House when they should have won 40 to 50 seats. So everyone thought, they thought. The Hunter Biden thing is of no interest to the American public. It's a waste of time. And it's not going to go anywhere. And if they're going to go into Congress in January and start this up and spend a year having hearings on this, it's a waste of time.
But they're going to do it.
Well, they're stupid. I mean, look at Donald Trump. Last week when this Twitter thing came out that Twitter had kept it all quiet, what does Trump end up doing? Oh, he said, we got to terminate the Constitution and put me in as president right now because of what they did in 2020. Absolute insanity, he would say that. And a Republican calling for, quote, the termination of the Constitution. Phil, I never thought I'd see the day. And it's all over. He's all hung up on this Hunter Biden story. I hope you're not hung up on it. The previous host on another show in Hartford this morning,
Yeah.
I told the guy, I said, you want to talk about it, go right ahead. But there's a reason the Republicans lost all these elections, is you're not talking about the issues that the listeners care about.
Do you think it's possible for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to end up somewhere in the middle when it comes to, this issue? And a lot of people are wondering, did the president profit from, his son's dealings?
By the way, no one's wondering that.
Oh, yes, they are.
You say a lot of people are wondering it. No, they're not. It's a non-issue. You come up with some evidence that he profited.
Well, we're nearing that point.
No, we're not. We're nowhere near it.
We are. Wait and see. I'm going to buy you a hot chocolate with a nacho.
I've been waiting. Good. I love it. I've been waiting.
Oh, my goodness.
I've been waiting for years. I remember the night of one of the Trump-Biden debates. A friend of mine who's pro-Trump. He said, wait till you see who's at the debate in the audience today. Tony Bobulinski. And Tony Bobulinski is one of the guys who was in some business deal with Hunter Biden and has turned against Hunter Biden. And they've been trotting this guy around saying, I can prove that Joe Biden was in on this thing. Well, it's now 2 years later. Where's the proof? I mean, how many years of this? It's like Benghazi.
Oh,
we just
God,
go over it and over it, and in the end, there's nothing there.
So if people around if people don't want to hear this issue about anything, where does that put the election? Where does that put the 2024 election? Will there be a runoff? Will be other things like that?
Wait a second. Well, 2024. Wait, we just finished last night. 2022. You haven't bothered to mention it.
But what?
But I mentioned, we just finished the election last night when we did the Georgia runoff.
Right.
And the Democrats, but thanks to Donald Trump, made history. It's the first time the president's party did not lose a seat in the Senate since FDR was president.
Yeah.
That shows you what a bad campaign Republicans under Donald Trump have run. They've lost the Senate every time. Lost it 2 years ago because Trump screwing around in Georgia. Lost it last night because of picking an idiot like Herschel Walker and an idiot like Mehmet Oz and an idiot like Blake Masters in Arizona. These were all Senate seats Republicans should have won. All of them.
Yep.
Should have won, could have won, and they only lost them for one reason. Trump put his big nose in it and picked a candidate he liked. He didn't let the voters pick the candidate. He picked it.
Yeah.
And they all lost.
Yep.
And so, but they want to keep doing it. For the Democrats, Donald Trump is the gift who keeps on giving. He is incredibly incompetent at running a political party, and he's run it right into the ground.
Yep.
And it'll keep going this way until changes are made.
And then, how can change?
Meanwhile, his vaunted company was convicted on 17 counts of tax fraud yesterday, and we haven't talked about that.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
Instead, you want to talk about something there's no evidence about Joe Biden. I mean, it's amazing to me.
Well, I think there's something there. Well, time will tell.
You think it, but you don't know it. It's like you used to tell me there was all this evidence of election fraud, and I kept saying to you, prove it. And there is no proof, and there was no proof. You didn't have any proof.
So let's just say this, John.
There's something here,
John.
Yeah.
So we have to look at these elections with a jaundiced eye, because I think so.
Why?
Well,
why?
Because people who think alike.
Because you lost?
No. But I think it's healthy to lose once in a while. But I think I'm right, and I think you're wrong. How's that?
Well, I'm sure you do, but there is a thing called proof, and if you're going to make a charge about someone, you got to have proof of it before you charge it. So, for people to run around. You used to say about January 6th that it wasn't Trump people. I remember you saying it on the air. It wasn't Trump people. It was Antifa that did January 6th. And
That
it's
was
now coming up 2 years later. Nobody believes that. So
that
there's no
was
proof of it.
days after that riot. And I'm 100% in favor of whoever broke the law has to be, there has to be punishment with that. Because I just don't see the everyday person who wants to just express themselves politically. And so I'm going to hold off judgment on that one.
They should express themselves, but not by breaking the law and not by beating up police officers and blinding them and injuring them quite severely. And it was not Antifa. It was Trump supporters directed by Trump.
Well, do you think he got on the phone and said, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do?
Oh, he got on Twitter. He said it's going to be wild. Come to Washington. It's all a matter of record. He directed them to come. He got them all ginned up at that riot, at that rally, I mean. Then they went up and rioted on the Hill, and they kept doing it, trying to hang Mike Pence, where's Nancy, blah, 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 ripping the place, taking bowel movements in the hall of Congress, which they did, putting fecal matter on the walls of the House of Representatives, which they did, behaving reprehensibly, destroying public property, and then all of a sudden, under great pressure at 4:30 in the afternoon, Trump tweets out, "You're great patriots, we love you, but go home." Boom, they all pack up and leave.
Yeah.
Think that's a coincidence? No. They were doing what their hero, that they've been brainwashed into thinking this guy's something special, and they did what Trump told them to do. And they left after wrecking the place. All to try to prevent the electoral votes from being counted in Congress that day.
Two quick questions.
That was Trump's last stand to try to hang on as president.
What would it take to change, the way our elections are won? The Electoral College.
We don't need to change them. We don't need to. You'd have to change the Constitution.
That's right. Are you in favor of that?
That's not going to be. Well, I don't think it'll happen because the little states would no longer be important.
Right, exactly.
The Electoral College gives at least 3 electoral votes to every state.
Yeah. Yep.
If suddenly, you take South Dakota, they have tiny population, a lot of land, but not many people. If we went to straight popular vote, which the majority of Americans favor, by the way, that the president be chosen by popular vote, not the electoral vote.
Mm-hmm.
So if we went to that, you'd never see a candidate going to South Dakota, North Dakota, Idaho. They'd never go there ever.
That's right.
Because there are no voters there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. One last question, and I thought about you when I was reading this story.
And we're getting a scratchy connection now, Phil. I don't know why.
Scratchy?
Yeah, every other word is cutting out.
Oh, wow. You want me to keep going or call you back or?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to figure it out. Go ahead. Ask the question. If I can't tell you, I'll tell you if I can't hear it.
So why wasn't Trump charged with anything in the Trump.org scheme?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't charge him. They never did. They always did this as a corporate felony, not a personal felony. But it appears that now may change. They've hired the district attorney in Manhattan has hired a big shot prosecutor out of the Department of Justice. And it's been reported, you never know, that they're looking to file new charges this time against Trump himself. So
interesting.
We'll see. Yeah.
My last question is about Army PFC Arthur Pierce, who was 26 years old of Malden, Massachusetts, who was captured and held at a prison camp in the Philippines prior to his death in World War II. I mention this because they found his remains 80 years later. They finally, there was closure there. And the family...
That's true.
Yeah. I was
You got to wonder, from the time he got captured till the time he died, what was the...
We lost you. All right. We'll check in again with John LeBoutelier. Yeah, there's something crazy going on with... Do you think I can use WD-40 on this too?
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
We'll have news coming up in just a moment, but thank you, one and all. Thank you so very, very much for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. It is now just about 8:30, and Kate is coming up in a minute, and then we'll round up the show and hit you with a couple of really interesting issues. That coming up straight ahead. Thank you for joining us. Well, we're not getting far fast. I'm going like this, Kate.
Oh, yeah. Just click harder. No.
So.
Well, it's time for the news.
Oh, good.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Time recognized Zelensky for his leadership during his country's war against Russia and for unifying governments, businesses, and people to support their cause. The magazine also recognized what it called, quote, the spirit of Ukraine, highlighting the country's resilience in a rebuke to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, another drone strike attributed to Ukraine blasted an airfield inside Russia on Tuesday. The attack follows drone strikes on 2 other air bases hundreds of miles inside Russia on Monday. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock will represent Georgia for another 6 years. Tuesday's Senate runoff between Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker caps off a contentious month of campaigning. A jury found the Trump Organization guilty on all counts in its New York tax fraud trial on Tuesday. Prosecutors accused the former president's company of avoiding taxes by paying personal expenses for top executives and giving them compensation without reporting it over a period of 15 years. China is starting to relax its harsh COVID-19 restrictions. The Chinese government said today people will no longer need to show negative test results in order to travel to different parts of the country or enter most public venues. Rare public protests erupted in Beijing and other major cities recently over the strict zero COVID policies put in place by Chinese authorities. A 50 basis point interest rate increase in the U.S. this month would bring the benchmark federal funds rate to a range between 4.25% and 4.5%, the highest level since December 2007. Erin Real reports.
The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates this past year at the fastest pace since the early 1980s, including a 75 basis point increase at each of the past 4 meetings. They're doing this in order to combat inflation. The Fed meets next week to decide how much to raise interest rates, and the markets are anticipating a 50 basis point increase, which would mark a new phase of policy tightening as they calibrate how much higher to lift rates. Officials are likely to debate next week how much to raise rates in February, with views shaped by how they see the underlying price pressure. If inflation slows but the labor market stays tight, they could be more divided over how to proceed. Erin Real, NBC News Radio.
Northern Alaska is getting record-breaking warmth for December. Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow, is one of the northernmost towns in the world and usually has high temperatures in the single digits this time of year. On Monday, the temperature in Utqiagvik soared up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, shattering the record of 34 degrees set back in December 1932. The National Weather Service in Fairbanks says Monday's high also set a record for the warmest it's ever been in that region during the winter months. CBS News reports the police chief in Tampa, Florida, resigned Monday after using her position to escape a ticket during a traffic stop of a golf cart without a license tag driven by her husband. Mary O'Connor stepped down after an internal affairs review found she violated police department policy during the November 12th stop by a Pinellas County Sheriff's deputy, according to the news outlet. The stop was recorded on video by the deputy's body camera. Today is the 81st anniversary of the surprise Japanese attacks on Pearl Harbor. Michael Kastner reports.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
A day after the attack in 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed a joint session of Congress and made that declaration. On Tuesday, President Biden signed a proclamation declaring December 7th of 2022 National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. The proclamation urges all U.S. flags to fly at half-staff today in honor of those American patriots who died as a result of their service at Pearl Harbor. I'm Michael Kastner.
The long-awaited sequel to the classic film Avatar is finally hitting the theaters. Avatar: The Way of Water made its world premiere in London last night. The sequel, directed by James Cameron, comes 13 years after Avatar became the highest-grossing film of all time in 2009. Original stars Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana are reprising their roles in the new movie, which comes to theaters on December 16th. In sports, the Celtics will look to extend their winning streak tonight when they play the Suns in Phoenix. And a fresh sheet of ice is set for the Bruins when they head to Colorado to play the Avalanche tonight. Meanwhile, Sportico reports that Bill Belichick is the highest paid coach in American sports, making $20 million per year. Now for a look at your local forecast from ABC6.
Weather system moving through today with periods of rain. It stays mild, near 55 with a south wind continuing. Overnight tonight, a cold front pushes south of us. That will give us partial clearing, but temperatures still mild, near 45 for the overnight low. We're near 50 degrees on your Thursday with sunshine returning. From the ABC6 Weather Center, I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Nick Morganelli in New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM.
At the moment, it is 51 degrees and cloudy. I'm Kate Robinson for WBSM News. Stay up to date with New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM, and get breaking news alerts and podcasts with the WBSM app.
Good morning, everyone. One and all, I'm going to treat her very nice if she just stays with me. I'm talking about this computer, folks, but welcome back. We are going to fill the airwaves with some interesting stuff. And one of them will be the updates. You know, a lot of action between yesterday and today in Georgia and how this is going to impact the Senate. So we have a lot to talk about. And here on the South Coast, we've got some very cool things happening. South Coast Rail has become a reality. And I guess you could say it took the place of Old Fall River Line, the Old Fall River Line. You remember that? All right. And you know what's attached to it? The different accent that people in Fall River sound like they're having, you know? So that's one of the golden points of what we're talking about here. And also, we'll give you a live update about everything now that the Navy carries out a secret mission to drop ping pong balls on Army rivals already. An annual football game that's Army-Navy. Nice of you to join us at 8:37.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Wonderful to be in your company on this rainy Wednesday, December the 7th. And I just want to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors like Paul and Dixon Insurance and Bessie Enterprises, Kudo Construction, Shooting Supply, Barrels and Boards, and we also have gas bars that helped out. And the Zyterian also put something in, along with Medicare Help 6.5 and the Butcher Shop. Let me see if I can get Joe Pinaretta on. I'll be right back. Maybe I'll have a little luck, you think?
Hear about South Coast news? Then talk about it. 1420 WBSM.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
For more than 75 years, the VA Home Loan Benefit has helped millions of eligible veterans and service members achieve their piece of the American dream, a home for their families. Did you know that you could purchase a home or refinance your current home loan with your VA Home Loan Benefit? VA home loans have lower closing costs and generally enjoy lower interest rates than other borrowers. The VA Home Loan may save you thousands of dollars on your mortgage. For more information, visit www.va.gov or talk to a lender of your choice. Choose VA.
Well, we hear that Senator Raphael Warnock remains undefeated after being pushed to another runoff. The Democrat asked voters in Georgia to put him over the top one more time in December, and he once again, they delivered for Warnock. Good morning, everybody. 8:41. How you doing out there? I haven't said hello to my 3 listeners on Cuddy Hunk. Nice of you to join us. And what's the temperature out in Rochester? Yeah? 45 degrees, Rochester.
Take the Morning Mayor wherever you go. Download the WBSM app.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jim Phillips, host of Town Square Sunday. Join me each Sunday at 6 a.m. on WBSM. We'll tell you about upcoming community events. You'll also hear from interesting people looking to improve their neighborhood, their town, or city on the South Coast. Tune in every Sunday at 6 for Town Square Sunday, only on 1420 WBSM, New Bedford's news talk station.
So, quick question. Do you agree with John LeBoutelier that nobody cares about the Hunter Biden story, or people are sick of hearing both Biden and Trump every day? They've come out with something every single day. I'm wondering, behind the curtains, do they think that this is a winning formula? That's and what did you think about what John LeBoutelier said? I disagree with John, because I think that there's a lot of things that are starting to crack. Remember the story of Humpty Dumpty?
Now, back to the Phil Paleologus Show, presented by the all-new Ford Explorer. Test drive one today at Wareham Ford, 1420 WBSM.
Yes, indeed. It's tomorrow, all right? The last day that they'll guarantee delivery is tomorrow. So you better get to Gaspar's Linguiça and select a little of that, a little of this, and they pack it very well, and they ship it to any place in the United States. Here's the catch. You're going to have to get on the horn and get some of these products there, because Gaspar's Christmas gift to you is Portuguese love to the South Coast. Those of you who love Gaspar's Portuguese sausage can create your own, gift pack, right? Wonderful products, and the whole family is just special. So you can choose from turkey sausage, chorizo, and linguiça. How about, their website looks very, very nice, very professional. I like that. And they also have traditional favorites like a kale soup and interesting ideas. You can do that. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm going to give you the number to call. And if you have a chance, do so before tomorrow to guarantee Christmas delivery, all right? They can be shipped anywhere in the United States. 508-998-2012. That's Gaspar's. Or go to linguiça.com. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Well.
It didn't sound like you really wanted to talk to John today.
All right. Let me have it.
Yeah, well, facts are the facts, I mean, I always, you listen to our prior president always saying about witch hunt.
Yeah.
The facts are the facts.
Yeah. Like Le Boutelier was saying, I think we're nearing a cracking point.
That's on.
Huh?
All kind of tools, pipe bombs, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, come on. You know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is that even the race last night, I mean, who in their right mind would vote for Walker? Come on. Who would vote for a knucklehead like that?
Wait a minute.
Just because of the R in front of his name?
This was a very, very close election. So
I know,
obviously,
that's what was so funny about it.
No. You know what's really happening? Elections like yesterday reinforce a lot of facts, all right? And one of them is, you're probably right, the media won't cover it the way they ought to. And there's some other things here, that need advancing. But your thoughts?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Are you still there? No? Okie doke. We might be having a phone issue. Thanks. We have some folks coming by the studio window. Today's winner for the $1 Million Musical is Eric James. The Morning Mayor is going to be very, very happy when I see you there at the Z. Good morning. Bertucci's has filed for bankruptcy again. Bertucci's, obviously, a long-time Italian-themed restaurant. They opened up in the early 1980s. And so they have filed for bankruptcy for a second time and have closed several Massachusetts and New Hampshire locations. The closures of the locations come as the restaurant chain filed for Chapter 11 in federal court. Let me see where these locations are as we see Beverly. Beverly, Massachusetts. They're closing down Bertucci's there. They're closing it in Brockton. They're closing in Canton, Marlborough, North Attleboro, and Woburn. All have been shut down. And you can go online and see what they're saying about the Bertucci's restaurant. And by the way, there's some up in New Hampshire as well. Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
Your phones are working okay?
That's hard to answer.
You hear me, so I guess it's all right. John LeBoudelier, is that? Yeah. It's easy to mispronounce his name the way that, but LeBoudelier, I think he's not delusional. He's a very intelligent man, but he's delusional over Trump. Like Trump is renting space in his head, or living in his head rent-free, I should say.
Do you think all the coverage of every day we hear something about Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you think the Democrats are playing the game this way so that he won't run again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If you think about it, I mean, when the two were campaigning, you saw Trump hold these enormous rallies.
Right.
So much interest, and then Biden would be, come out of his basement, and you have like half a dozen people there, sitting in their cars with their masks on.
Yeah.
And so I think that people just got tired of hearing the media complaining about Trump.
Well, some woman called in this morning saying, I'll be glad when that's over with because of the blitzkrieg of political advertisement. Listen, I've got to run. I'm so behind, but you are a pleasure to have on the air. Did you know that?
Have a good day. Stay dry.
Will do.
All right.
The Bill Paleologos.
Next caller in. You have been very, very patient. Thank you. Good morning. Do we have? Okay. Good morning.
It's interesting, your last caller and listening to John LeBoudelier, they want to sort of bury the Hunter laptop story and anything that's difficult to listen to. But, that's about corruption. So if everyone's okay with corruption or not finding the facts on what's possible corruption, then let's just bury the Hunter laptop story and pretend it didn't happen.
That's exactly, that's a great analysis. That is right spot on.
Everyone liked Trump for going after, quote unquote, the swamp. Probably went about it the wrong way. But the fact is the U.S. government is highly corrupted. It's on your TV and on YouTube every day. You can see it plain as.
You know what? I'm limited on time. How would you define corruption? Such as what? Stealing?
It's purely what the mob used to do in Chicago. It's a scheme that everyone's tied into, and there's lots of leverage, and people are paid to do certain things, and they know it, they live it, and they. But the fact is that the government isn't operating the way it was designed. It's not following the Constitution anymore. The three branches of government operate totally differently, or they've ignored their basic tenets and are doing whatever they want to do. And no one's stopping them because it doesn't happen at the ballot box, which means one of two things: is the ballot box is corrupt, or number two is that the voters want to turn their head, and they are willing to live with a little bit of corruption. And not a lot of values. So that's the way the country's going. So
I agree.
It's not a hell in a handbasket yet, but it's heading that way.
Yep, I agree. And you know what? I'm thinking our kids. We're We are putting so much debt on our kids who haven't graduated from high school yet. This is going to be
Bill, I hate to break it to you, but our kids and grandkids will have no knowledge of what we know and what we value because those values are being changed at school. And we see it now. We see all these weird things going on, like trying to figure out whether 10-year-olds understand their gender or not, or, all of these weird things. But the fact is it starts in the schools, and it's I wouldn't want to see what it's like in a couple of generations. It's going to be a real bizarre America for sure.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.